Quinn. I
Okay,
always get them
we're
mixed up.
live.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, it is 1:30. Why don't I call the meeting to order? So I'd like to call the meeting to order for the Oregon Racing Commission for Thursday, April 16th, 2026. Karen, could you do roll call, please?
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. For the record, my name is Karen Parkman, and I serve as the Director of Administration for the agency. Today in attendance, we have Chair Doherty,
Here.
Vice Chair Barry,
He
absent,
will. Absent for now, or absent for now. Yeah.
Commissioner Fowler,
Present.
Commissioner Stein,
Here.
and Commissioner Kinsley is excused.
Excused. He is excused. Okay. Okay, we have some other people coming in. Okay, so the first thing we have on our agenda is the approval of the April meeting. Do we have any additions to the agenda that was printed? Okay, so take a motion to accept the agenda as printed.
I'll move to accept the agenda.
Okay.
I'll
so
second.
Commissioner Fowler moves and Commissioner Stein seconds.
You guys are
all
gonna be
those-
busy today.
I know, all those in favor? Say
Aye.
aye. Aye, okay, it is approved. Our meeting, minutes from the March meeting will be approved next month at our May meeting. Okay, the next thing we have on our agenda is old business. Director Nguyen.
Good afternoon, Chair Doherty and members of the commission. For the record, my name is Connie Nguyen and I serve as the Executive Director for the Oregon Racing Commission. I apologize, this is a little longer than normal, but I think we're going to get through the rest of our agenda quickly. Last week, I participated in the ARCI 2026 Annual Meeting and Integrity Conference. We had a lot of good speakers. Lisa Lazarus, who is HISA CEO, presented some really interesting findings on AI initiatives to detect at-risk horses and promote responsible wagering while also addressing gambling landscape. We had speakers from the America Bettors Voice Panel exploring declining interest in horse wagering. Their biggest points were that horse racing should include fixed odds, which is very prominent in other countries, and takeout should be lower. There are inherent problems with both of these for racing in the United States, such as the Interstate Horse Racing Act, which does not allow for interstate fixed odds, and the fact that the funding of horse racing precludes us from having any lower takeout rates. We're already not making enough money to handle racing. But it was interesting viewpoints. Speaking of which, Kentucky has a bill. At the time, it was sitting on the governor's desk in Kentucky to allow fixed odds on horse racing. I'm not sure if that will go through their sports book or not. I have a feeling they may be trying to get that through the tote systems because they're asking the totes to come up with a number of changes. I'll continue to look at that. We'll have to figure out how that will impact us. I'm assuming those will only be in state because, again, of the Interstate Horse Racing Act. Former White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney, a former CNBC and former CNBC, Ian McGinley, discussed prediction markets, which has been something really on my radar, and the potential impacts on state level consumer protection. It was very interesting in the fact that most of the people who are doing the prediction markets tend to be younger than even sports wagering. So it doesn't seem, and I confirmed this with the lottery, like at this particular time, it's really taking much out of the lottery, casinos, or horse racing at this point. Now, there was some trends towards horse racing going towards it, but there were some different jurisdictions that brought up the fact that we have conflicts with interstate horse racing. It seems like most of them have stopped. So it seems like that's less of a threat than it used to be. Broader issues also included discussion on unsanctioned racing, which we've talked about before, interstate racing compacts, and computer-assisted wagering. In the bill I referred to earlier from Kentucky, there's also a requirement for tote companies to modernize no later than April 1st of 2027. This is a direction we may want to consider, as it is potentially assist with last-minute pool changes that appear to happen after pools close. And for those of you who don't know who are on the commission, we have 3 different totalizator companies, and they have to communicate to each other. So a wager could go from United Tote to Global Tote to Amtote before the wager is placed. What this does is it can cause a lag in the wager showing up on the tote board. We don't have that problem here because we're not currently doing interstate wagering, but if you were, let's say you were in Kentucky, you could have a big player put a huge wager in 3 seconds beforehand, because it can be up to a 2 or 3 second delay, and it looked like the odds change after the race already started. So one of the biggest reasons to make changes on these and do this modernization is for the perception of the public, because they often feel like they are being unfairly taken advantage of by these large wagering companies. It's actually been one of the concerns about the computerized wagering is, oh my gosh, they're sneaking in wagers after the horses start out the gates, and that's not true. It's just a perception because of the delay. Other news, Deputy Stuart Crystal and I conducted an on-site evaluation of the Harney County fairgrounds. The community is highly motivated to reinstate racing with key priorities identified. The list is long. This is the highlights. Improvement of the track surface and overall condition. They have a very clay-rich track, and no work has been done on it in 6 years. They probably need a lot of sand and other work on it to get it into shape. They completely demolished their paddock and jockey room, so both of those would have to be rebuilt, and they need a starting gate. So they have some really big purchases. On a plus, where the paddock and jockey room used to be, they built a gigantic pole barn that can be multi-purpose for many different things, and a portion of that could even actually be used. A portion of that is outside. It's still a pole barn, but it's open on 3 sides. Could even be used as a really nice covered paddock. So it may not be as bad as it sounds. A comprehensive project plan is being developed in collaboration with local interested parties. I've engaged with the Oregon Thoroughbred Owners and Breeders Association leadership to explore collaborative initiatives. Our discussions focus on how the ORC can support and amplify their development efforts. Feedback indicates heightened optimism and renewed energy from their team. I applaud the direction they are focusing on. In partnership with the Department of Administrative Services, they're allocating $1 million in one-time funding provided by HB 5402 towards county fair racing, infrastructure upgrades, and supplementing funding purses from loss after the elimination of greyhound racing, which will be effective on the 1st of July in 2027. Department of Administrative Services will take the lead in legislation next session to request an amendment of the bill to change distribution from Union County to Eastern Oregon Livestock Show. In other news, ORC is poised to participate in the June Emergency Board. We are seeking emergency board approval to increase ORC expenditure limits, which will restore reimbursement for the commissioners in-person meetings and attending the county fairs, restore essential staff training programs, limitation increases for out-of-state audit travel, restore laboratory operating costs, as well as sustaining current staffing and safety initiatives. This will allow critical functions which are currently constrained by existing limitations. Our next in-person commission meeting is scheduled for May. Reimbursement of travel expenses will apply only to the commissioners based in the Portland area as part of cost-saving efforts. Remote participation through video conferencing will be available for out-of-area members. If in June our funding is restored, we can consider having an in-person meeting in Grants Pass in the fall. Otherwise, this will be the last in-person meeting we will have for this biennium. The 2026 Annual Advanced Deposit Wagering Forum will be held in Portland during the renewal season. This event will bring key industry leaders together to discuss wagering trends, regulatory development, and marketing strategies. We are honored to once again provide facilitation for this important industry. Regarding community outreach, I have initiated conversations with the Boys and Girls Clubs and Grants Pass, as well as discussion with both Burns Paiute tribes and the Confederated tribes on Umatilla. That concludes my reports. Are there any questions?
Okay, any questions, commissioners? Okay, thank you very much. You've been busy, been very busy. The next thing we have under new business is there are 3 rule hearing reports, and we have about a half an hour until Commissioner Fowler needs to leave. And so, Director Nguyen, do you think we can get through the voting and the discussion on these or in that
Oh,
time?
yes, I think we
Okay.
can.
Because I was going to
So-
suggest that we do one and then vote on it, kind of change the
Right, yeah,
agenda,
I
but
think
well,
we're gonna be able to get through these very quickly.
Yeah.
And I will just go ahead and go on with that. The first is
Please.
the totalizer licensing fee. That has been $1,000 for a very, very, very long time. We're just increasing it to 1,500, just so it's covering some of our costs of processing those. And that I would like.
I did also notice that there was a spelling correction in that. I think there was it was in one of those that there was, being a former English teacher, I saw that there was a spelling correction, so.
Good. All right. I don't say it right now, but that's good. So, and by the way, totalizer can be spelled 2 different ways, with a
Mhm.
Z or with a S, depending on where you are.
It was actually a typo,
Because I
it was
go to other
period.
states,
They-
it's with an
yeah.
S. Oh, it was a different type of typo. Of course. Well, thank you for
Yeah.
pointing that out. And we're so lucky to have you as a former teacher to pull these things to our attention. Okay, so I would like to see if you guys would like to consider a motion to start the rulemaking process on OAR 462-2230-0010 to start the rulemaking process.
Okay, are there any questions about this? Because it was pretty clear in the information that you sent out. So, okay. Do we have a motion to accept this, begin the rulemaking process on this? Is it rulemaking process or are we adopting it?
Rulemaking process, we're just starting.
Okay. Okay,
I'll move
so, okay,
to begin the rulemaking process.
okay, thank you very much, Commissioner.
Well, second.
Okay, and Commissioner Stein seconds. No discussion. All those in favor to begin the rulemaking process, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it is unanimous. Okay, so we finished that one. Next one, please.
The next is rule hearing report, also by me. These were on 3 different rules, and nobody came to any of the hearings, and we had no comments, public comments on any of them. So there's really not much to report on. So I can go on to the
Okay.
next one, unless you have
Okay, so,
questions.
excuse me, that was on which,
That was on prohibited persons or entities, 462-220-0085, which I also call the bad actors rule to discourage online wagering companies from working with known people who are doing things that we would not allow in Oregon.
Right,
The-
because what you sent out was quite complete, and you went through, and there was a lot of explanation and description in the rule in the rule.
The other is clarify source market fee expectations. Again, these are all you've approved. We're just we're just going through the process of reporting on what happened. They're not official yet until we get to that part to vote on them. Source market fee for expectations. This has been a problem in the past, but according to our president of grants passed down, HRA, it has not been a problem recently, but we just put some clarifications on the expectations on when these fees should be paid to make sure that they're paid promptly. I also want to thank President Lowe for his comments. He actually advised to give them additional time because of how the pay cycles work. So we had made that change in there previously.
Okay.
And the last source market fee payments, how those are paid. So nothing on that. The next one is discussion and possible approval to adopt the following rules. The first one we just talked about, that was what I like to call the bad actors. Again, we did get some early on public comment, which we have, which is in the packet, and the changes have been made. For example, we did not want to call it a bad actors. So we did change the wording appropriately. The next two both have to do with definitions and more clarity on what we call either a white label or an affiliate. And I just want to give you a little background on why we wanted to change the name of affiliate. The reason is both Google and Apple in particular, if you use the word as an affiliate, it causes all sorts of additional work for them, when in fact, these really aren't affiliates like what most companies consider an affiliate. They're either white labels or basically wagering partners. Through this process, we've had a lot of back and forth on what to call these. So we have decided that we're going to go with, and this is a change that come through public comment, that we will call them ADW service partners or just service partners. That seem to be the best, and that is marked on the agenda.
Right.
And then the last one is clarification of the source market fee expectation. So I think on these, unless our attorney says otherwise, that we can make one vote on all four to adopt, or Kelly, would you rather us go through them individually?
If you make them all at once, you just need to reference all the rules so it's clear which rules are being adopted, or you can do it one by one. Either way.
Then it's up to you guys on what you want to propose.
Well, I think we've got, it's only 10 till. Why don't we go one by one? And with motions, because we're talking about 0085, 010, 030, and 110. Those are the four that we're going through. And do we want to adopt the rules on these? That is what the question is. Correct?
I'll move to adopt the rules.
Okay.
And if we want to do them one by one, that's fine. Then I move to adopt OAR 462-220-0085.
Okay, the
second.
motion has been made and it has been seconded to adopt the rule of OAR 462-220-0085. There's no further discussion. All those in favor of the rule change, please raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it is passed. Okay, the second one.
I'll move to adopt the rule OAR 462-220-0010 sub 3, sub 4, sub 7, defining white labels and authorized wagering service partners.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, Commissioner Stein seconds. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please, of the motion, please raise your hand or say aye.
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 Aye, or both. Okay, the motion has been passed, is carried. Okay, the next one.
I'll move to adopt OAR rule number 46222000030 sub 3 sub big F, big G, and big H.
Okay,
I'll
and it's
second.
basically, so that's a second, it's basically just changing the name from affiliate to authorized wagering partner. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor either say aye or raise your hand, or both.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that motion is passed. And then the last one that we're going to be dealing with to the rule change.
Lastly, I'll
Okay.
move to adopt OAR 46222000110 clarifying source market fee expectations.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Stein seconds. Okay. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, either say aye or raise your hand or both.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so the four rule changes have been adopted. The next thing on our agenda we have is the review and possible approval of HRA application, and that's Mr. Lowe.
And before Mr. Lowe goes, let me do a quick introduction. I would love to hear, I would really like to have Mr. Lowe discuss, what's going on and anything he'd like to say, and then I will go over, after he has, I'll go over the application. And then you
Okay,
can vote on it. So.
okay, thank you.
President Lowe, do
And
you have
just for clarification, just to make sure that we have a quorum, if we have to vote on anything else, is my assumption is that on our agenda, we've finished the voting where we have to have a quorum.
This
We
is
need
the
a quorum.
last one.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Hey, my name's Rod Lowe. I'm the CEO of HRA LLC, the commercial race meet. You can go through my application, or Connie can. Just a couple notes. Going through the budget for 26, we've been running 12 days of racing, and unfortunately, with the cost going up of racing and things what's going on in the industry, my budget actually only originally allowed to run 8 races commercially. The OHPBA, going through the finances with them and discussing it with them, they had decided to go ahead and give me $100,000 in order to get to our 10 days of racing that we have with HRA this year in 26. Now, going forward in 27, it's important for us to keep getting this legislation through and be finding some money for us to try to get back up to our 12 days of racing. So it's important for all of us to get together and support legislative bills in the future, what Connie has and what the OHPBA and the Quarter Horse Association has been trying to do with their lobbyist in order to try to increase those races. On top of that, just a little preliminary thing of what's going on at Grants Pass is on the 27th of this month, we're launching a community fundraising effort in order for us to fix up the grandstands, redo some parking, hopefully build a new paddock and jocks room, create new bathrooms, remodeled bathrooms underneath the grandstands. So, and we got the fairgrounds blessing on that. We'd like to eventually build an OTB at the grandstands that could run year round. It's a large project. It's a $5 to $6 million project. But you know what? It's like eating an elephant, one bite at a time, and we'll do it in priorities. And as money comes in, we'll take on what we can take on. But we're excited about it. The county's excited about it. And I hope that we can raise the money to do that because it will really bring Grants Pass to that next level and really create a better commercial look, commercial racetrack that we wanted. Most of these things had all been preliminary drawings done of them when I was with TMB Racing. Unfortunately, with TMB quitting as soon as they did, that portion of that had not been done. And so we're looking forward to doing that, and we would like the ORC's support. Probably our next meeting, I'll get all the documentation and all of the pictures and programs of what we're trying to do. And I think with everybody's help, we can get this done.
Okay, great. Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions of Mr. Lowe? It seems like you guys have kind of got your ducks in order. I wrote down that saying about eating an elephant, so got to keep that in mind. Okay, Director Nguyen, additions.
Yes, you all got a copy of the checklist. I didn't want to bombard you with all the documents. You will see that there are a couple things on here. The jockey medication, accident insurance. They will have that by September 1st, so that's an outstanding item that we would be conditionally approving and by. And I'll, like I have before in the past, Rod, I'll just send you a letter saying you're approved conditionally with verification of these things before your start.
Okay.
Rod, I really want to appreciate, I had a lot of nitpicky questions this time. I know it drove you crazy, but it was really good for me. Some of them I should have known, some of them I didn't know, and being able to really have that depth of clarity, I really appreciate that. So I want to really thank you for the time you spent. There's a couple licenses that will need to be renewed by then. But Rod's aware of them, as is Chris, so we'll try to work together to try and knock that out to get those renewed. The only other thing that I am going to recommend is that in the fall meet, I know Rod is the CEO, not president, sorry, has penciled in to have Dr. Jensen back again. And I think most of you know that there were a number of problems with Dr. Jensen, including not being available when a horse colicked and some other things. And I know that they're probably going to get Dr. Bradley, but I would like to, just to make it clear, I would like to approve the application with Dr. Bradley on there and not Dr. Jensen. And if Dr. Bradley can't do it, I will work with Rod high and low to find someone else.
Okay, thank you.
And that's all I have.
Okay, any questions? Any questions?
Rod,
of
do
the
you have any
commission?
other comments about that?
No, I'm totally in support of that. Just Dr. Bradley's situation is he's waiting on a vet that he's hired that will start in July. And as long as nothing goes wrong with that, he has said that he can cover Grants Pass in the future. So he's kind of, until she's here and she's working and he just hasn't made 100% commitment, but he does intend to be our vet for Grants Pass in the fall.
Okay, so what we need is a motion to approve the HRA application with Dr. Bradley as veterinarian.
I'll move to approve HRA's application with Dr. Bradley.
Okay, so are there any seconds?
I'll
Second from
second.
second from Dr. Stein. Any questions from the commissioners on this application? Because it looks like everything is in except for that one thing, but it's on its way. Okay, so with that, we need a vote on the motion to approve the application. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand or both.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it is approved unanimously. Okay, so that is the last thing that we have on our business agenda for a quorum. The next thing we have is a public comment. Do we have any public comment? If you just want to raise your hand, or Alice Lombard just raised her hand. So Alice, do you have some public comment?
I guess my question is, what does
And if you
coverage?
could,
I'm
you
sorry,
could identify
yes.
identify
For the
yourself for the record.
For the record, this is Alice Lombard, veterinarian. My question is, what does coverage mean when we talk about veterinarians at the racetrack? So if Dr. Bradley is going to cover, or his team, what does that mean? Are they on
Somebody
ground?
It's just race day medication. That's
Okay.
all he's committed to. He's still available for all other work, you know, on a call basis.
It's emergencies that I'm worried about. So is there somebody on grounds who is treating?
No, there's nobody on grounds
Okay.
except for medication days. I mean, you got your state vets that are on the grounds, but there is nobody on the grounds like on a 24-hour type of thing. It's on a call basis.
And
Right.
in an emergency, Dr. Lombard, if there is a state vet on site and there is not another vet, we can authorize that state vet to do emergency care until we can get a vet there.
Okay.
And that's covered under ORC.
Okay. That's what I worry about. Thank you.
Okay, any other public comments? Please raise your hand or, okay, Twyla Beckner has raised her hand.
Yeah, I just wanted Twyla Beckner, stall lady, Grants Pass. I just wanted to add too that Jensen, he knows he's old and he's limited. He just wants to help. He knows that Dr. Bradley's coming for the summer meet and he's thrilled with that. For the summer meet, he will be staying on the grounds for emergencies besides the vet, pre-race medication, Lasix. And for the fall, he knows Dr. Bradley's team is covering. He still might be there in emergencies if we need it. But we know that he's limited and just don't count on him. But he has made himself available to do that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Beautiful.
And thank you. Any other public comment? Raise your hand. Okay, seeing no other public comment, we have no contested cases on the record. We do not need an executive session. And but I think just before we go to confirmation of the next meeting, anything that the commissioners would like to comment or add or whatever. The one comment I have is with the commission, I appreciate the expertise that we have from commissioners because I am not a horse person. But between all of the rest four of you, there is extensive knowledge, and it's something that I think has really helped the commission. So I want to compliment you on that. Okay. Any other business? Okay, seeing no other business, the next commission meeting is scheduled for Thursday, May 21st, 2026 at 1:30 at the not Portland State University, but the State of Oregon office building in Portland at 1:30 in room 1A. So that's our next meeting. And since there is no other business, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you all very much for attending.
Thank you.
And good luck this afternoon, Commissioner Fowler.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. See you all next month.
Yes. Bye.
Thank you.